Hello, everybody, and welcome back. As you know, it's Tuesday night. It's 9 p.m. So pour yourself a stiff one, crack yourself a cold one, and roll yourself a green one if that's the way that you like to roll things out. But guys, ladies and gentlemen, it is Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I am your host, the bald, the beard, the beautiful Piers Austin, and we are brought to you by MWA Podcast Network. And tonight, I have a guest making his return. He is the Beach Bum Booter, Jackson Kelly, and I'm really excited to talk with Jackson again. It's been a while. I got to catch up with him at the last IWA show, and it was a great time. So looking forward to having a bit more of a chat with him tonight. But guys, before I get started, just want to take a quick second, a quick pause, a quick moment to thank some of those wonderful sponsors that we have. First up is A-Rock Designs. Now, A-Rock Designs is that company. They make custom cups, hoodies, keychains, t-shirts, tumblers. You're seeing them all over the pro wrestling groups, all over the pro wrestling pages, Instagram wrestling pages. They're making a lot of custom wrestling stuff. They made me this custom CM Punk tumbler, which I love. Absolutely amazing. Keeps my cold drinks cold and my hot drinks hot. You know, when you contact them, say I sent you over there. Won't do anything for you, but hey, I like it when people say my name. It gets me out there a little bit more. So why don't you do me a favor and do it? Next up is Signal Studios. Now, Signal Studios is that badass motherfucking recording company in Signal Studio. Rewind. They're the badass motherfucking studio in Sydney, Australia. If you're an independent wrestler, you need a new entrance music. You need something fly, something hip, something fucking dope. Hit up my boy Rafi. He works with such bands like the Cicadas, who made my entrance music for me, which I absolutely love. Shout out, boys, for that. But if you need to get yourself some music, hit up Signal Studios. They will mix, master, produce, and ship that bitch out to you anywhere in the motherfucking world. Woo! God, it's good to get all that out. But guys, without further ado, here he is. He is the North Shore wrestling star, the Beach Bum Buddha, Jackson.
Oh, sorry, Piers. I couldn't do that face better than you. I was watching the intro and you started off. Is that your thing now, or is that just
no? I know. I'm just checking it out, man.
I love it. I couldn't do it as good as you. I tried. I also noticed Zicky Dice in your intro there. You had him on the show.
Yeah, bro. I had him. He was one of my very first guests, actually.
Nice, good fella, good bloke.
He's a great dude. He's a lot of fun. To talk to, man. I got him stumped on some Aussie slang. So I had him on and I said, like, I think I asked him, I was like, what does this lingo mean? She bangs like a dunny door in the wind. And he just looked at me and went, outlandish.
Yeah. He's had a bit of practice with me. We've gone up and down the roads together a few years ago. I thought, I guess I don't speak like that, do I? I guess I am a North Shore wrestler. So,
yes.
Yeah, wrestler. I guess I wouldn't. I mean, I didn't even really know what you said. I know Dunny's a toilet. That's about it.
Yeah. He just turned around. He's like, "Well, she goes all right, and I want her number." And I was like, "That's it. That's it, bro." But dude, like, since last time we spoke, man, the world pretty much fucking shut down with pro wrestling, and now it's back up. And I was at an IWA show. I think it was like, when was that? January?
Would have been January. That one was January. Yeah,
January. And it was like, yeah, dude, and like, I wasn't expecting to see you there. It was absolutely great. You know, you look like you're in great shape. How was your quarantine period, man? How was your downtime?
I guess last time we talked, it would have been just before or probably even just at the start when we all didn't really know what the hell was going on. So my quarantine period was, it was like, I guess I can speak for everyone. It was a bit of a lot of ups and downs. You know what I mean? Just things in personal life that went not wrong, but just not the way that you intended. And then, just confusion, a little bit of fear, but also a little bit of motivation thrown in there as well, because, you get given all this time. So it's like, okay, well, what am I going to do with this time? Am I going to go this way or am I going to go that way? You know what I mean? And I had a bit of both. Like for a period there, I was very motivated. I got very fit. I turned, gyms were closed, obviously, and I loved going. I loved going to the gym, and that sort of forced me from my physical health to sort of turn to bodyweight exercises. And
Mm-hmm.
for a moment there, I was probably feeling the fittest I ever had, because I was, doing all these exercises which were so good for you, like all the calisthenics, burpees, just air squats, push-ups, simple stuff like that, which I probably was neglecting. I went really hard with it, got very fit, and then I guess you could say the real COVID hit, and I probably drank a little bit too much, just out of boredom. You know what I mean? Like I found myself just like having a beer on a weeknight, which a lot of people do, but that would turn into 2, that would turn into 3, and then 3 or 4 months later, it's normal to have a 6-pack on a weeknight, and I hit a point eventually after that where it was like, because there's no wrestling, there's no nothing, there's nothing to look forward to. So I guess I hadn't really thought about it in that sense. So this is actually the first time I'm verbalizing that sort of I guess analysis of my COVID. But yeah, there was a period where I got well out of shape and was like, oh man, what the hell's going on here? So I appreciate you saying I at least looked in shape returning to Central Park, because for the few weeks and months before that, I turned it around, switched my head back on, and because I knew things were coming up again. So it was like, got to do it now or never, and that's what we did.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you were going through that phase of 1 beer a night, then 2, then 3 and 6, would you say that you were going through like a state of depression at the time, or was it just like bored?
Oh yeah, well I'm gonna say no, because I know a lot of other people who have been through worse, and I've been through worse in past years. So I'm gonna say no and not classify it as that. I just think it was just so easy with the way the world was to just turn to that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to it. It was absolutely. You had one of 2 choices, and I made the right choice initially, but then just because nothing was really changing for a while, I just just started making the wrong choices, and then kept making them until I had to. I know myself, and I know that I was going to turn it around. It was just a matter of when, and when do I start this, and how do I start this? And I got there, but at that point, I was like, oh man, like I'm in a bit of a rut. This sucks.
But what was the turning point for you to sort of go, hey, it's time to sort of get this shit cranking again and get Jackson Kelly, the wrestler, back into where he needs to be?
Yeah, I don't know if there was a point, if there was a moment. Part of me, like, I'm very self-critical, so I'll look at myself and be like, nah, that's not who you are. That's not who you want to be. That's not who you want to be as a wrestler and as a human being, as a healthy human being. And I can't say there was a moment. There was never a light bulb. It was just the sort of, all right, look, I'm going to have to start doing the right things now. I'm going to have to start coming up with a plan. And yeah, like both me and my girlfriend, we were very, we came up with a bit of a 12-week plan to sort of get back into working out. And we both stuck to that for the 12 weeks. And yeah, it's just the habits. Now the good habits are back.
Well, that's what they say. Do something for 12 weeks straight, and then straight away it just becomes normal. It's like, dude, after my recent health scare, like I haven't trained in a month, and last night was my first time back in a gym.
Yeah,
and
how that feel?
Like, oh, dude, like it felt great, like just to get it out. But then I was like, like during my sessions, I'd knock out easily 100 push-ups in a training session, like intermittently and stuff like that. Dude, I did 1 set of 10 push-ups last night. I'm like, why does this suck so much?
Yeah. It's a bit of both, isn't it? It's both motivating and demotivating. So yeah, like it feels great, but you're also like, oh man, this sucks. Like I'm not where I was. Like, but then your head just goes back to the other way of thinking. You just have to convince yourself, like, I will get there if I just chip away at this. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, absolutely. And I've probably been very similar to you with obviously fitness and training and stuff. And man, that COVID time, not being able to go to the gym, it was like literally I went bald because of it. I literally pulled my leg out.
I'm right behind you.
Yeah, exactly. So, but how did it feel, man, to come back and be in a wrestling ring again? Because I know you did the summer tour with the IWA prior to the St. John's return. How was it being back in front of a live crowd, dude, after almost 12 months?
Almost 12 months, pretty much. It felt great. It felt amazing. I was extremely nervous to do the 3 nights straight because, as any wrestler would know, one show's hard enough. 3 nights in a row, taking bumps and setting up the ring, that like we do on tour, that's really hard on the body. And I've come off, this year was three days straight. The year before was 4 days straight. I've come off the back of 4 days just like feeling awful physically because it is so tough. So I was nervous about that. I was nervous, just in my abilities. Could I still do this? I hadn't really practiced much in a long time. I'd thought about it, but I also hadn't thought about it in the way that I used to. Like I used to always, ideas would pop into my head midweek. I'd be like, oh yeah, I want to try that out. Like when COVID hit, I shut off wrestling. I watched hardly anything. Like I still had it on social. So that was how I consumed wrestling in general, was just like keeping up with posts. I'd learned there was a new champion based on a Facebook photo or an Instagram photo. You know what I mean? I didn't consume wrestling at all. So like I was wondering heading into the tour, have I neglected this to the point that I'm not going to be able to do this? Like, can the anxiety was there? Can I still do this? And
but I think with someone like yourself, though, like wrestling, it was such a passion for you. Like you shipped up and went overseas and trained at the Black and Brave Academy, which anyone who is watching who doesn't know, the owner of that is Seth Rollins. Learning from one of the top stars in the world today, I think that, you know what I mean? Like, I think, having that disconnect from the wrestling, from barely watching it, it sounds like, sometimes you need to take a step back to really appreciate what you have in front of you, if that makes any sense.
It definitely does. And I thought plenty of times, like, do I even want to go back? Do I need this? You know what I mean? Like, like I'm sure a lot of people in that COVID period had to reassess their own priorities and their wants and desires. And I did the same thing. I was like, do I want to go back? But what brought me back was the close-knit community that is Australian wrestling, and how and the friendships that I have within there. Like, most of my friends from wrestling, we all sort of kept in touch here and there where we could, but we all knew, like, it was at shows, it was, at these events where we just had so much fun, you know what I mean? And when I knew tour was going to be on, or when I heard tour was going to go ahead, I looked at that and was like, well, if there's any sort of event or show or group of shows which is going to remind me that how much fun wrestling is and how much fun it is to be around the boys and girls, it's going to be that. So I sort of put that on the calendar. And maybe to answer your earlier question, maybe it was that. Maybe because I had that penciled in. I was like, there were a few shows here and there leading up to that, but it was the tour that I wanted to do, to be like, okay, A, I can still go. B, I still love this, which I do. It worked out in my favor, because I went back, met all the guys again, and just had an absolute blast. And I can still do this again. There's no doubt about it.
What was the most exciting thing for you on that tour? What was there something that really stood out for you?
I think just sort of getting that response from a crowd again. Like, obviously, with any show, COVID or no COVID, there's always anxiety whether or not you're going to get a reaction based on what you do. And I guess that was sort of heightened heading into that. So I remember first night was was Laurieton, and that's a good venue. It was probably the smallest venue out of the 3 nights, and to sort of hear that audible response from the crowd for the first time, that was like, yo, it's back, it's on again. And then Foster and Sawtell. Sorry, it was Tuncurry this time, which is right across the bridge from Foster. Tuncurry and Sawtell, they were even bigger venues, even bigger crowds, even better production and setup. So that just sort of, got better and better. I was like, yeah, this is it. This is fun. This is what we love to do.
Yeah, man. And I got to ask, seeing you at the St. John's show, before the show, you were in your gear, taped up, warming up. And then I was sitting there, I saw you backstage. I'm like, all right, because, I was there before the doors open, talking with Mark and shooting the shit with him. And I was like, oh, shit. We saw each other. We exchanged pleasantries. I saw you warming up, and then you came backstage, and then near the end of the show, you come out and confront Cowboy Chris Abbott.
Yeah.
And you're in street clothes. Did you hurt yourself warming up at all that night? Because that was something I was like, it was just like, no, plans changed.
No, that was the plan all along. To give you the behind the curtain goss, I was just there to do a bit of a photo shoot in my gear. So I just actually saw me in the gear, and I was doing a few push-ups to pump the chest up a bit. That's about it. Yeah, that was the plan all along. Yeah, just because tour we can sort of get away with keeping information for those crowds. They're sort of like house shows. So I guess, like we said, this was my return to IWA. We promote the St. John's show, so this was my return. I confronted Chris Abbott, and now we're on the home stretch of the championship match, last man standing match coming up soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man. Like, both guys, like Chris has, had an incredible run.
Yep,
as champion, and I think even your return, man, like the crowd there really sort of was electrified with that standoff in the middle of the ring, which, to be honest, like that crowd, I think was a little bit hot and cold throughout the night. Like I felt personally, which I found surprising because the show I went to previous, I think December, that place like blew the fucking roof. So I was quite surprised, but yeah, like one of the biggest reactions of the night was you stand with that face off with Cowboy. So
that's cool. I appreciate it. But that's sort of what me and Cowboy have done everywhere, so to speak. Like our history is we always talk about it, and it's going to end on April 17th. Because I don't this is the last time I'm going to fight him. That's for sure. Once he loses the title, he's not coming. He's not coming back for the title. But yeah, look, like that's what happens.
No rematch clause in those contracts, huh?
Yeah, I'll make the clause. He's not coming back. I'm saying it. It's just a verbal clause. Yeah, like that's what happens, man. Like the crowd understands now that when we're in a ring together, whether it be a standoff, whether it be a match, whether it be a hardcore match, whatever, like good things happen. Who's this? Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the message. Jonathan Sunday said, Knights beat the Tigers. Oh yeah, whatever, mate. I thought he was talking about Manly. I thought he was going to shit on Manly for a second. All right. He will in a sec. He would have said that.
I'm sure that's not going to get the crowd going. Like, don't shit on Manly, but
never works. Dude,
yeah. But you know what, dude? Like, you've got a busy couple of weeks coming up, man. You got the Newey Pro Town Hall show.
Yep,
coming up. And then the IWA show, which is in April, I believe, over at Hornsby.
April 17th. This is back at St. John's. April 17th, back at St. John's.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So that's the championship match against Abbott. And then this Friday, March 26th, is Brawl at City Hall for Newcastle Pro Wrestling. That's going to be like, we are all so pumped about that show. Already sold out. Sold out weeks ago. 500 plus, new venue, beautiful venue. I've never been there, but I'm so excited to perform there. And we're gonna have a blast.
I'm pumped to come to a Newey Pro show, dude. Like I really, really want to go. I
First
can't make
it. You can't make it. Yeah.
No, dude, my wife's pregnant with our third, so
congratulations.
Thank you. COVID,
Some
baby,
things are
bro.
more important than wrestling.
Hey, bro, how was your COVID? Here's my third child. Yeah, so she's 7 months, so she's almost at the final
Almost,
6, 7
yeah.
weeks. So I gotta chill close by.
Of course,
But
one day,
yeah,
one day.
when the baby's born, mate, I'm gonna come up.
They'll be front row as well.
I'll be. I hope not, bro. You can do it. We got Leanne Purchase yelling out North Shore.
There we go,
winners.
North Shore winners. That's the chant we like to hear.
But you know what? Like one thing, I've seen the vignette for Newey Pro with you and Sam Osbourne, and Sam is honestly one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Like he's a very lovely guy, much like yourself. But when he's on and he's in character, I just sit there and go, "Fuck, he's such a good heel." Like,
Good,
he's
right?
he's
Fantastic.
Yeah,
they often say that, like, the nicest guys in real life can be the biggest dickheads on stage. I think, yeah, look, if that's how people perceive Sam, if that's how people perceive me, wonderful, great. But like, we just have so much fun with the crowd. Obviously, we have something there which sort of, it works.
Yeah, like riling them up.
So
like
it's fun. Obviously, people hate the North Shore. Yeah,
but I enjoy it though, because I sit there and see that when you guys are doing the heel stuff, I'm going, yeah, but they're such cool guys. Like in reality, it's just, I don't know if it makes you cooler, just sort of sit there, just like, yeah, fuck it, just pissing people off. Like, to me, it's cool.
Yeah. Look, we're gonna
maybe I belong in the North Shore,
500
bro.
people off this Friday. So.
That's it. Maybe I belong in the North Shore, man.
Maybe
Sutherland. I'm a Shirey now, so like
Shirey, down south on the coast. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I pass a lobotomy bus every day when I go to work, bro. Don't worry. But going back in and now getting back into shows, do you find that you're watching more wrestling now than what you were during COVID? Like, do you still watch current product of like WWE, AEW, New Japan, Impact? Do you still watch the business?
I watch Walter.
Fuck.
Not for anyone, it's Walter. Look, yes, I am getting back into it as a fan. I think initially it was hard to sort of turn on and watch these crowdless shows, because from my perspective, it is all about having that interaction with the crowd. And I guess these professional organizations, they just can't. They can't. I know AEW does the very limited audience in a big stadium, great, but they just can't risk any sort of outbreak to happen. Obviously, it's a bad PR exercise on top of everything else. So I was really turned off by that, but I'm sort of growing back into it, if that makes sense. Like, I've come around to the idea because A, they have to do it, and B, we all have to, like, if there's anything to watch, it's going to be that. Like, we have to deal with it. So it's like, all right, I'm accepting this now. Like, this is the way that it is until it's not. So, like, just enjoy it. And like we said before, like, priorities change, mindsets can sort of change. And my mindset now is just to be a little bit more optimistic and be like, okay, this is how it is. It's still good. It's still what I love. It's still what I'm passionate about. It's still the same thing. It's just different. So to answer your question, around a big circle, yes, sort of getting back into it. But I think there's going to be, I'm getting there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and like, I think, like, as far as like watching wrestling from a fan perspective, like, I've always been a wrestling fan, but now obviously, doing podcasts and being associated with who I am with the other show that I'm on.
Yep.
It's sort of, the professional view of it has sort of come out of me a little bit more, because I've got people who are going, oh, like, I'd go, wow, that NXT show was great, and like, no, bro, it really wasn't. Or like, and this is the reason why, and having these things broken down. So now I sit there and watch wrestling sometimes with a different view. But if the angle's good that I'm watching, the match is good that I'm watching, I can see myself sort of like letting go in that moment and sort of being really invested, and that's cool because I still want to have that feeling, you know?
Yeah, no doubt, and it's sort of inevitable that you're going to have that critical eye the more you sort of get behind the curtain and sort of see and learn all these things. That's completely inevitable, but it is important to sort of sit back, take that cap off, and be like, man, that was cool, right? Like that was awesome. Yeah. And I actually watched the main event of Fastlane. Was it yesterday? I thought that was cool. Like I loved it. Like I was just like, it's just a nice slow beginning, brutal Roman Reigns, and then obviously whatever happened at the finish is what it is. We can tell what's like from the critical perspective. We can tell what they're trying to do, and I enjoyed it. That was the first full match I've watched in a long time, like full live match. Yeah.
Dude, it's funny. Like my wife has never been a wrestling fan at all. Like she understands it's something I really enjoy, that I love.
Yep.
I remember I sat down she was in the lounge room with me once. She was doing something on a laptop, whatever. And I put on like an old CZW show, and it had Lefisto versus Black G's, Sabian or he's Black G's now.
Yeah.
And it was an intergender match. And it was like, the match was probably about 25 minutes long. 15 to 20 minutes long, roughly. And it was just one of the best matches back and forth that my wife, who has never been a wrestling fan, who would sit there and go, oh yeah, it's wrestling, and then no reaction, was sitting at the edge of her seat going, come on, Lefisto, come on. And she's like, who do you think's going to like me? And I'm like going, babe, this was like 13 years ago, like, bro, like, I can pretty much, I can tell you who wins it if you really, no, don't, I really want to see. And my wife became a mark at that point, and I'm just like, nice.
That was her moment. It was from a CZW match.
but it invested her so much. Like I got the opportunity to interview Lefisto, and I told her that.
Oh,
cool. And Lefisto was like, wow, like that's like, she was just blown away. Like she's like, really? Like she never enjoyed it. I was like, nope. She's like, Hulk Hogan. I was like, nope. She's like, wow. She's like, she was like flattered. I'm like, I told my wife, I was like, oh, you spoke to Lefisto. How was she? And I'm like,
was she happy about that win from 13 years ago?
Yeah, exactly. Did she ever get over that loss to Black G's? I think she did. She's like, he's such a bad guy. And I'm like, yes, he is.
Yeah.
So it's, that's the thing, man. Wrestling, draws that emotion out of people, and even I think, like the smarter critics of the business and the people involved in it, like they're still reacting to it in a way, right?
Oh, like, yeah, they're still watching, aren't they? They're still watching at least.
Like, yeah, like obviously, did you see that shit? Like that was so dumb. Yes, it was, but you fucking watched it, brother. Like, so did we all. You know what I mean? Like, it'll always draw us in. Like if you're a fan, you're a fan for life. It's like the mafia. You think you're out, we pull you back in.
That's very true. What happened to me? Like there was many times last year where I thought I was out, but look what happened. Getting drawn back in because we love it, right?
100%, bro. But 2021, we're in March. We still got quite a few months to go. What's your plans? What are your goals for this year, bro?
Goals is to win the IWA Heavyweight Championship. I think Chris has had it for far too long. What is he, like almost like 1,000 days or something? I don't know. He keeps talking about it on Instagram. So
800 and something days, yeah.
800. All right. So maybe you won't get to 1,000. That's for sure, because I'm going to take it off him. But yeah, look, that's my biggest goal for this year is to win that championship and then carry it proudly to all the events that IWA has to offer, hoping that they're going to get up and running, like all these towns, all the little shows, every show that they do. I'm going to carry that belt to all the shows and be a champion that the IWA should be proud of, because I think that's what it deserves. IWA is the oldest active promotion in this country and the most well-traveled promotion in terms of how many venues they actually. No other promotion in the country operates out of the amount of venues that IWA does. If there is a promotion, I don't know about it, and I apologize for that promotion. But most promotions, good on them, operate out of the one, maybe two facilities, monthly shows. Fair enough. Yep. IWA, in my opinion, is unique in itself because it operates everywhere, all throughout New South Wales. There have been times in its past, in more than recent past, where it's gone overseas, interstate. It goes everywhere, man. And I want to be that champion that carries that belt on the road everywhere. You know what I mean? So that's the goal, is to get over Chris Abbott, April 17th in the last man standing match. I'm going to beat him finally. I've beat him before, but like I'm saying finally because it's the last time we're ever going to wrestle. Yeah. I'm never fighting him ever again. And yeah, that's the goal for 2021.
Do you think, as far as like, you know, you mentioned taking the belt everywhere that you go, and you see like champions in some promotions here in Australia, and they'll go and wrestle in other promotions and not have the physical belts with them when they take them out. Do you think that it would be beneficial for the promotions to have that sort of, I don't want to say having like the IWA title defended on like a PWA show or anything like that? Yeah. That'd be pretty cool. But obviously, like, if you're a champion of this promotion, the other promotion recognizing it, do you see that as something that the promotion should be doing in order to like really help boost themselves and their championships?
Look, I can see points for and against. I can see points for from a wrestler's standpoint, and I can see points for from a promoter's standpoint, and then vice versa, against for both. You know, there's going to be different. And that's actually something I haven't really thought of. I've never really considered it. So it's a great question. And I wish I had the answer, but I'm sure there's just a multifaceted response from both promoters and wrestlers, which would cause a great debate. So if you're asking for my opinion, you know, on the spot opinion, I think it would be awesome. I think it would be amazing. I think carrying belts across promotions, you know, at the right times, the right guys doing that. Obviously, if it was a free-for-all, that would get very confusing for the fans. It would probably be a little bit convoluted. There'd be like 8 champions on a show. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm already starting to see like what promoters would see. Like, but I think that would be cool if it was the right, and it does happen. It does happen under the right circumstances.
Like if two promotions did like a like, I don't want to say tour, but did like a series of like shows together, you know, teamed up for like 3 or 4 shows, then you can have like the cross promotion of champions, I suppose. But
yeah, exactly. And I'm pretty sure in recent memory it's happened before. But for it to be a regular thing, that would, you know, I think it might just work. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know.
What could go wrong? Let's look back at history. Like Alundra Blaze turned up on WCW with the women's title from WWF, and look how that's. Yeah, okay.
Was there egos involved with that? Because that was the other thing I was going to say. Is there's probably going to be egos involved with some sort of stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, exactly. Like, no, hey, brother, I'm the champion. I can't get. I ain't get. No, I'm not going over. Like,
no,
I am going over. Yeah. I'm not jobbing tonight, brother. Brother, I got the belt.
Yeah. So that's a good idea, but like I'd be very dedicated once I knock over Chris Abbott, because that's going to happen. Just to like, dude, like IWA does all these events, like Tamworth, like towns like Dapto. We wrestled on the Dapto dog track, on the track. You know what I mean? We set up the ring on the track at the finish line at a showground and wrestled there. I don't know when showgrounds wrestling is going to come back, but those are the things that I love. You know what I mean? Like a captive audience coming in, probably never seen wrestling before. I like to think of myself as the missionary of New South Wales pro wrestling. Like, I will go to these places. I will tell them. I will spread the good word of the Lord, the good word of wrestling, and I will tell them what it's all about, and hopefully attract some new fans from a random place around New South Wales, regional New South Wales. And who knows? Maybe I've created a fair few new fans over the years. I hope so, because that's what I'm really passionate about.
How, and that's probably the questions I wanted to ask you as well, is like, how do you go from performing in front of crowds which may not know what's going on in the show, the storyline wise, to compared to, you know, going and like at Newey Pro where people are like on their, like, know what's going on a storyline basis. They follow it quite religiously.
Yeah.
Whereas like if IWA is in Tamworth one night and another town the next night, IWA does their social media really well, and they do they get the storyline on social media, don't get me wrong. But how is it as a performer performing, going, this audience doesn't know this storyline, it doesn't know about this build up? How do you go out there and perform, build something up in front of them in time that you've got to be able to go out there and build something and execute that story?
It's just a different level of psychology. Like you said, like the Newey shows, the PWA shows, you know, that you can carry those storylines at the same events because you've got that captive audience who are coming back each and every time, and that's your job as a performer, to convince them every step of the way to keep coming back. You're telling the next chapter of the story, and that's fun in itself, because you get to build something and you get to, you know, think before you do, and like plan out something where, all right, we'll give them this week, but you know, the next month we're going to save that for then, because we're building to that after that. So you always try and have some sort of rough plan in your head when you're doing that, but it's not better or worse. It's just different, because if you do like a you know, an IWA show at Narandra, you know, that you have to be honest with yourself. There might be 1, 2, maybe 5 people who follow online and they know what's going on. But most of your audience is just going to be there waltzing past and being like, oh, wrestling, I've seen Stone Cold, I've seen The Rock, like I know Hulk Hogan, you know what I mean? This is wrestling, like, cool, let's go enjoy it. Let's go watch this for half an hour and give this a whirl. So you have to perform to those people, because they're your majority audience. So it's just a, you know, there's level 1 storytelling. I steal a phrase from Jimmy Jacobs when I was over in America. It was level 1 storytelling. You are educating them. Like, you are literally, you're a school teacher. It's wrestling 101. You have to assume they've never seen wrestling before. Not just you, they've never seen wrestling before. So you need to educate them on rules, how it works, who the good guy is, who the bad guy is. And then, yeah, like if, like, for example, if you were doing a tag team match in front of a crowd that's never seen it, you have to teach them what tag team wrestling is. You have to make the tags obvious. You have to show the bad guys cheating. Like, you have to do those things for a crowd who's not seen it before. And I guess there are some shows where you're not sure what you're walking into. Like, I like to think of tour, like IWA's wrestling tour. I like to go into those shows assuming that they've never seen me before, because that's the safest option. But you might enter and get a genuine pop because they were all there last year, and that has happened. Like, they remember you, they know who you are, they know your character already, and now it's up to you to sort of, you know, build off of that, because you're already there. You don't have to spend that time educating. Like you said, like, you're given a certain amount of time, you got to use that time wisely. In those moments, you have to call it on the run. We're here now rather than back there. You know what I mean? So, and that's all part of the fun, and that's all part of the experience, and that's how you learn and get better as a performer. And that's what I love. I love doing that, and that's what I've missed.
Mate, it has, you know, like, and I think Australian wrestling's missed having you around, man. And, you know, do you plan on going like interstate at all, like going over to like the Melbournes, the MCWs, the Deathmatch Down Unders, the PCWs,
Why
and
not?
working?
Yeah, why not? I'm open to anything. I obviously have my goals here, and I want to achieve those here. But if they see value in me, and if I see value in them, I'm all for it. I would love to. It's for me now. It's not so much about spreading my brand. It's about providing something for a show which only I can provide. And if they see something in me, I know what I can do. I know what I do in a ring, and I know what I can offer. But if other people want that on their show, I'm in. You know what I mean? Like I would love to be part of it, and I would love to give something to their show which would be different than what they've seen before. So yeah, it's like I said, it's from a if you're asking me as a person like why I want to do it, it's less about spreading my brand and getting my name out there. I'm a little bit past that. I'm more team oriented. I'm more like what can I do in my role for the show and for wrestling as a whole to make this bigger. And if that's a part of my journey, I'm in.
Has PWA ever been one of those promotions you wanted to go and be a part of?
I have been a part of PWA in the past, briefly here and there, on and off. Yes, I would love to, but I just think at the moment they have a lot of a lot of hungry, committed guys, especially through their training school, who are probably putting in more work than I have specifically for them. So I guess I'm like I guess I'm sort of just mainly committed to like IWA and Nui in that sense because I know my role. You know what I mean?
Sure.
The role for me has been communicated, and I'm ready to rock and roll. I'll never say no to PWA though. I'll be like we all see, everyone can see how good production value, how good of wrestling talent. Dude, a lot of guys come out of there and go to big places. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we've definitely seen that. And the reason why I asked for PWA is obviously with the Nui Pro that I know that there's a close relation between those two promotions. And you see a lot of guys sort of coming across, and probably IWA to an extent as well, because the last St. John show there was a lot of Newcastle guys. Yourself, Nui Pro guys, I should say, not Newcastle guys, but Dazza, Big Rig, Charlie Evans as well. She was there. So, you guys are, down in Newcastle have really sort of built a name for yourself in the Australian wrestling scene as well, where, you're being brought up to Sydney to come and perform up here as well. So, man, like amazing props to what those guys are doing down in Nui Pro, because, it's one of those promotions which I really can't wait to go and get behind and check out a live show.
Yeah, March 26th is going to be unbelievable. 500 tickets have been sold. You know what I mean? Like it was sold out weeks ago. It's the biggest show in their history. It could even be the biggest show in recent history for bloody New South Wales, whatever, Australia. I don't even know how to. It's just going to be amazing. I'm pumped. I'm pumped as hell.
And the North Shore Wrestling, you'll be there with Sam Osbourne. And
Sam Osbourne. Will Keatis will be there too. Lucci's missing this one. Unfortunately, he's busy. But North Shore Wrestling will be strong there. We're taking on the Nations, Jack Bonza and Adam Hoffman, the blue and red version of the Nations. So
a great match.
It's going to be a great match because those two guys are like it goes without saying they're like some of Australia's best wrestlers, and put them in a team. The Nations are well established as a like probably Australia's best unit. You know what I mean? Faction, whatever you want to call it. So it's it's a huge opportunity for myself and Sam to take on these well experienced veterans and sort of win, because we're the North Shore winners. That's right, North Shore Wrestling, NSW.
I thought it was North Shore Wankers.
No. That's not.
No.
Look. We've heard the chants. We've heard audiences everywhere. They think it's funny, but it's not. North Shore winners, North Shore Wrestling, I'd accept. Not North Shore. I'm not even going to say it. Just, come on, Piers.
I'm sorry, mate.
Yeah.
How unprofessional.
I thought you wanted to be in the North Shore. You said you're from the Shire.
I'm from the Shire, yeah.
What a good show that was.
Absolutely. But one of the things I wanted to ask you, bro, is like last time I had you on the show, I asked you if, going back and wrestling internationally was something that you wanted to do, with whether it be go to the States and work the indies and try and build a name for yourself up there. And you said that there's something special happening here in Australia, and I want to be a part of it. 12 months on, is that mentality still the same for you? Like, Australia's where I want to be.
Yep, 100%. Obviously, it was railroaded a bit by COVID. That's something none of us can help. But it's still that's still the truth. That's still 100% the truth. I have no aspirations to leave. This is exactly where I want to be. I want to be part of this this movement, so to speak. Like I still firmly believe that something special is happening here, and I think if it hasn't happened already, which I think it hasn't, because there's still more to do and there's still more of an audience to tap into. We're still building for that big sort of break that the industry is going to have, because I know it's going to have it, and I want to be part of it. I firmly believe that with my whole heart.
I agree with you, man. Like, since the COVID restrictions open up, I've really invested a lot of time into going to more shows where I wasn't probably going to as many as I'd like. And every chance I get, like, I go to any show that I can get a ticket to and just to go assess it out, whether it's, at the very top of the promotions here in Australia to like one of the new promotions starting out. Here's my money, entertain me. Show me something. Awesome. You know what I mean? Like that's awesome. The thing. And also getting to obviously come down and catch up with friends like yourself and guys like that as well. And that's the thing that I've seen with the Australian wrestling community. It really reminds me a lot of the music community. You know what I mean? Like the Metalheads and stuff like that. Is like, you will meet some of the coolest motherfuckers at a wrestling show. The same thing, you'll meet some of the coolest motherfuckers at a fucking music show.
It's that bond, man. It's that bond.
It is, bro. And I find the harder the music, the cooler the people. And it's like, you know what I mean? But, and that's the thing. It's like when you, at that environment, when you're in that thing, there's a lot of companies now which have really built a community and a base for themselves, for their fans, where it's like, hey, come and enjoy some wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very welcoming environment, from the IWAs to the PWAs and to everywhere in between. Like, it's a very welcoming place, wrestling, I find.
And I think wrestling's done a good job of identifying the good people who should remain involved. You know what I mean? Like, even like I've been involved for 4 years, and I could tell that when I first started, that there were, here's the PC way of putting it, just some dodgy characters involved. And
grimy cunts, you can call them.
Exactly, right. Just people, just like when I came in, obviously coming from the background that I come from, like you'd see people on shows that, I wouldn't really hang out with that guy if I wasn't involved in wrestling, you know what I mean? But that's completely changed. Like, it's like I compare it to a footy team now. Like, you're all there are the guys you're closer with than others, but you're all a part of the same team, and it truly feels like that, because there's no one involved that I don't like or I have a problem with. It's just full of a lot of good people, and that's doing no wonders for my roll up at Newey this Friday night.
But that's the thing. Like, I think it's like, I got a background in MMA, and in that sort of environment where you train, it's like every gym has a no dickhead policy. You turn up here, you act like a fuckwit. There's the door. We're not wanted here. You're here to play. You're here to have fun. And I'm starting to see that same mentality with with a lot of the promotions. It's like weeding out the fuckheads and just having people that are willing to learn and want to learn this amazing thing called professional wrestling, or be a fan and enjoy this amazing thing called professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And that to me is like, the world of wrestling has always had carnies and, shady fucks.
Yeah.
But now the Australian wrestling scene is really saying, hey, world, we're doing this a little bit differently.
That's right.
And
that's right.
Yeah, you're not hearing the stories of trying to undercut people, cut people's legs out, and
politic
and
it's just, and that's part of the reason why on my last trip to America, I have no interest in going back. I just want to Like there's less. There's nothing. There's no, I should say less because I shouldn't say there's 100%. Who knows what's going on? Beyond my vision of beyond my vision. But like I don't see that. Like you said, I don't. It's not happening. Like that stupid egotistical attitude of like I like take care of me first. Like it's a team effort. And that's like everyone's on board with that now. And if you're not on board, like you said, no dickhead policy. It works wonders in these organizations. And when you have that, when you implement it, and if you have the right guys in the right positions, like enforcing that, and that's probably something that I want to sort of turn into now that I'm, approaching that 4 or 5 year mark being here in Australia, is to sort of become that leader and sort of set the tone, because there's going to be new guys coming in, and it's inevitable. And I want that to continue. That's pretty important.
Well, we saw that in the speaking out movement, where like a lot of people that came forward and a lot of the allegations, like I read and heard pretty much 99% of all of them, and some of them I was like, wow, and then some of them I was like, that's bullshit. Yeah. And the ones that are bullshit, I kind of feel bad for the ones that are genuine, because it got to a point where they're like, what's happened and what hasn't, like where's the thing? And I think that for years pro wrestling has been, oh, you want to get into the business? No worries, I'll get you into the business. What are you going to do for me? And it's been that sort of mentality, whether it be from an abusive thing or just the power play thing with people, whereas like now the younger generation are going, hey, fuck you. No, we just want to wrestle. We don't want to, like, hey, my friend gets a good spot here, great for him, or great for her. That's right. I think that's the mentality that you need to have, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like it's not going to get anyone for going into business for himself any popularity or make a name for yourself in doing it. And, I think Vince Russo actually said to me once this, and it was, bro, he actually said, bro, he goes, I used to work in a job where guys would argue over who the toughest is in a sport that's predetermined.
Yeah.
He goes, and he said to me, he's like, do you know how fucking retarded that is to see? Yeah. Like,
silly.
Like, he goes, it's like, it is what it is for this, and enjoy it, be a fan of it. Like, but come on, man. Like, as far as the attitude goes, it doesn't need to be there. And it's really good to see that in the Australian scene.
Absolutely. Hey, I was going to say, like, it's, I'm a bit jealous that you said you're a metalhead back in the day. Because I missed all that. Obviously, I'm probably, I missed the 90s as I was 10 at the time. I was born in 94, but yeah, like
Jesus. Now I just feel fucking old.
Oh, sorry. It's okay. I was just gonna say I got into Metallica when I was at university, and how you get into bands and sort of go on a little bit of a binge and just listen, get to know them, I've been on that binge for about 8 years now. Like I can just shuffle their discography and just listen to all their songs. That's how obsessed I am. So I'm very jealous that I saw. I don't know if you're a fan of Metallica, but I'm very jealous that I missed that sort of like live show. But if I must say, I had tickets to when they were going to come out to Australia last year, and unfortunately was on the same show that we had Newey Pro on, and I was wrestling Sam Osbourne, so I had to sell the tickets. I was pumped about the show, but this was my chance now to see the band that I'd listened to for about 6 or 7 years. But then they cancelled it anyway because I think James Hetfield got turned back to the drink or something. I think that's a bit bullshit because they kept doing shows in America. Anyway.
Yeah. But you know what? It's funny, man. Like I listen to like now To Whom the Bell Tolls. Like that's still that to me, bro. That's still the song that I can sit there and just put on repeat and just play it over and over. It's like just that.
That's a headbanger. Oh, it's a headbanger. Oh,
100%, dude. And I think that like even then, like Metallica back in the day has like they've been the ultimate heel in music, right?
That's right.
Like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Lars Ulrich is like the biggest heel.
Lars
in
Ulrich's one of the
music.
most outspoken people of all time, right? Like he's and the whole Napster deal and whatnot. Yeah, like I don't know. Like I probably missed all that at the time. What was Napster? Was like 2001, wasn't it? Or 2002?
Yeah, I think it was like
Because I
90,
I
like
had
yeah,
mine back in like
2001
'06 or something.
to
Anyway,
2000,
yeah,
yeah, 2001,
I had to
2002.
research that. I wasn't around for that as it was happening.
Oh,
I was, but I was 5.
you dick. In 2001, you were 5. Shit, I was
Yeah.
19. Dick.
See, I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I wish I see all the videos and stuff like, the '90s, like like Limp Bizkit concerts in the late '90s. That like I sort of wish I was like 18, 19 for that kind of stuff.
Bro, I went to Big Day Out when I was like 16.
Yeah.
And this was the lineup. Korn, Marilyn Manson, Hole, Rammstein. Who else? Super Jesus were there. The Living End were like the new kids on the block.
Oh wow.
They were
in Australia as well. Yeah, right.
In Australia, they were like on during the day sort of shit, right? When there was like hardly anyone there. Like I saw Living End playing in front of like who else? Regurgitator, like heaps of old school bands. It's like
that's all dead now. Like even like I think those companies are all, even with or without COVID improving, like they're all sort of, I don't know, like things like that just don't happen anymore. I heard that the other day. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but we'll see.
Yeah, bro. I think with COVID, it's just going to all come down to depends on, how many numbers that they can do. Like, dude, Australia is one of the only places in the world that are doing live wrestling shows with a decent audience.
That's right.
Like
that's right.
The US guys, man, like how they can pay the boys off 20, 30 people in the crowd is just like.
I've been seeing Facebook posts about sponsoring wrestlers. I hope that works for them. But yeah, like I think we should just consider ourselves pretty bloody lucky that we get to do all this. You know what I mean? Who knows what I'd be doing after the year that I had? Like if it was still like this, far out.
Yeah, oh, dude, it's crazy, and a lot of the guys over in the US, the indie guys, as you spend a lot of time there, they do this for a living, like, and it affects them,
Yep, they scrounge together a living with the shows that they're on, and it's tough to begin with. So now I don't even know, like, I think, yeah.
And that's the thing. Well, that's the thing when it all happened. Was it Braun Strowman came out and said, "I don't get these indie wrestlers. They should just go get a normal job." Then it's like, I was like, "Oh wow, yeah." That coming from the guy that got signed to a 6-figure contract to train to wrestle. Oh fuck, bro! Great compassion for your brothers that come before you. Fuck, but
he'll be on the nah.
Yeah, that's all right, bro. He's just on B12. But man, like, where are people going to be able to find you coming up, Jackson? I know it's going to be Newey Pro. I know it's going to be IWA. Tell us when and what. Where are the dates? Where they can find it? Let's go from there.
This Friday, Newcastle Pro Wrestling Brawl for City Hall. As I said, 500 strong. It's already sold out. So if you can somehow get a ticket, good luck to you, because that's how in demand Newcastle Pro Wrestling is. That's how in demand North Shore Wrestling is. Let's be honest. We're the ones who sold it out. Myself, Sam Osbourne, Will Keater, Stregalucci. We sold it out. But that's going to happen this Friday, March 26th. And then next up coming for me is April 17th, which is St. John's Park Bowling Club for the IWA. It's going to be me versus Chris Abbott. I'm finally going to take that heavyweight championship off Chris Abbott in a last man standing match. If there's anything that you need to know about myself and Abbott, is that we will go to that extra, like, we'll go the extra mile. We've done it before, and it's the heavyweight championship of IWA, the longest running promotion in the country, active promotion right now. It's like beyond important to me to win this match. It's going to be even like Chris. I know Chris wants to get 1,000 days as champion. He wants that. If he beats me, he's probably going to get it because I'll lose my chance and no one else has beaten Chris. I know I can. So look, last man standing match. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun for the audience. We're going to go absolutely nuts, bonkers, like we have done before. We're going to do it again. But it's going to be the last time, because once I beat him, he's not coming back. He's not getting another chance for the championship. It's mine, not his, not Chris's.
Man, it's going to be an amazing match. I'm definitely going to make sure I get my ass to St. John's. Just make sure I get permission from the wife as we get out of here, so I'm good to go, baby.
That's important.
These man, don't fuck with a pregnant woman, bro. That's the best advice I can give you. But firstly, man, thank you so much for coming on the show, bro. It's always a pleasure to catch up with you and talk. Anytime you want to come back on, you've got an open invitation. You know that as the case. Guys, as well, I just want to make a special thanks to everyone who tuned in to watch this show. Guys, MWA Multi-Continental Wrestling Alliance is launching a new show this coming Saturday at 11 a.m. Australian time, which is 7 p.m. Friday night USA Eastern time, and that show is this. That is going to be hosted by Angel Medina, the ECW original, the fucking kingpin himself. His new show, Killing the Business, exclusive on Multi-Continental Wrestling Alliance on YouTube. So make sure you check that out. We were going to be having our Twitch set up soon. And we have a few more shows that are going to be coming up, guys, that we're going to be debuting. But you'll be able to catch this show every Friday night, USA Eastern, Saturday mornings, Australian time. Make sure you tune in. Jackson, again, thank you for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure as always. Guys, we'll go pull faces somewhere else. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I love you all for watching. Talk soon. Peace.